And thank you so much for joining us for another edition of All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson. So, what? We're getting into the silly season already. Whole heap of politics going on and polls are out. Don Anderson polls commissioned by the People's National Party. The party released those polls at a press briefing. We're going to be talking about that. We'll hear from both parties. We'll also hear from pollster Don Anderson himself and some commentators as well. Remember, we want to hear from you. So WhatsApp us. It's 3810072. That's 876-381-0072. Give us your first name, your general location, and tweet us. Our hashtag is TVJ All Angles. To put it in context, though, Kalisha Williams looked at the numbers.
In the last general election, the People's National Party only secured 14 seats, while the Jamaica Labour Party won 49. Since then, the PNP has been trying to win over the Jamaican people while being beleaguered by disunity in the party. Now it appears the party is gaining ground. At a press conference on Tuesday, General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, gave the breakdown.
So the trend, which is what I pay more attention to, is the party coming from behind, pulling level, and then pulling ahead.
50.6% of respondents gave the PNP a positive rating, while 49.4% ranked them negatively. And when asked which of the two parties they intend to vote for if they go out to vote, 30.2% said they would vote for the PNP, while 25% said JLP. However, 44.8% of the respondents have either not yet decided or said they will not be voting.
There were lots of issues that were in the minds of people, the whole question of the salary, negotiations. There are lots of challenges that the government faced at that point in time. And what that meant was that the People's National Party gained 10 percentage points. The government fell by 3 percentage points. Marginal decline, but a significant jump for the People's National Party. We fast forward to June of 2023. So you could see that kind of trend continuing in June 2023. The People's National Party, they moved up to 30.2%. The Jamaica Labour Party fell to 25%.
When it comes to individual performance, 54.4% of those interviewed gave the Prime Minister a positive rating, while 53.2% gave opposition leader Mark Golding a positive rating.
We really wanted to get what we thought was the most useful information and feedback from the public as to whether or not they have a positive or a negative view of the leaders. Yes? Do they have a positive or a negative view of the leaders?
The answers are normally very good, average, poor, and very poor. Whenever we report that and we go to a presentation, people say, but, average could be, you could put the average along with the positive, right? And therefore, what we did, we took the liberty with the data on this particular occasion to add the average numbers to the positive. We did that for both leaders, we did that for both parties.
While PNP President and Opposition Leader Mark Golding indicated that the poll is a big confidence booster for the party, he said it is not time to get complacent, especially when it comes to addressing the internal issues.
While encouraged by this, we are by no means complacent. We do not take this for granted, and indeed, we recognize that we have more work to be done. We are in the process of selecting our candidates, and that is a process in our democratic system of governance which will, from time to time, cause ripples which have to be properly managed.
The poll was conducted between June 8th and 14, and a total of 1,012 persons were interviewed. There is a margin of error of plus or minus 3%. Kalisha Williams, TVJ News.
Thank you so much for that, Kalisha. Did you all release all the information or you held back some?
No, there's some of the information that wasn't released.
Why not?
Well, it's a press conference. I'm not sure how much of it would have been carried. So we release what is normally the question that a poll commission, say by the media houses, would have released, which is the direction the country is going in, the ratings of the party, ratings of the leaders, and the voter intention. Those are the main issues that are normally carried in a poll.
Did you ask about the performance of the opposition?
Yes. That was carried in your clip just now.
The performance of the... we had the performance of the party leaders. But when I looked at in terms of the opposition, which was at 6 and 16 for good and very good last year.
Yeah, we sent that to you, to Kelisha as well. So that she mentioned it. She said the 50.6, I think she said, gave the PNP a positive rating, and 49 point something gave them a negative rating.
Here's my question. Here's my question though. Thank you so much. Here's my question though, because was it the, listening to Don Anderson there, was it the pollsters' decision to put the average together with the good and very good, or was that a request from the party?
Well, that's how it was presented. But to be honest, that's what I think is the most useful way, because
add average to good and very good.
That's what I think is the most useful way, is to find either a favorability rating, a positive rating, or an approval rating of the person, because saying that the person is doing average is like a student that is in school that you say you're giving a C. It doesn't mean that the person would have failed. So saying the person is doing average doesn't mean that you're not supportive of the individual. So when we've reported these before, when it was said that Portia Simpson Miller had a positivity rating of 78% or Andrew Willis had a positive rating of 82%, it was never an addition of good and very good. It was good, very good, and average. That's how it has always been presented. It can be disaggregated, just to look at good and very good, but I don't know if what that communicates. What do you extrapolate from that alone without looking at the persons who think that the individual is doing an average job as well?
Well, what you've done is that you're assuming that average means that the person is favorably inclined.
Well,
I mean,
normally,
if average is being, I've never understood this, because if average is being put with good and very good, it could also be put with poor and very poor.
Well, maybe the next time when either the PNP or any media house is doing the poll, they really should just ask persons if they have a good or a bad, so positive or a negative of the person, or
no,
they
but
don't
sometimes
have no
you don't.
opinion.
But that's the point, though. Sometimes you don't have positive or negative.
Right.
Sometimes
or
you're
you
like
have no opinion. Right. So,
all right.
So that's what I'm saying. So maybe the question could be asked that way, but essentially that's how the information has been presented over the years.
When you look, though, because initially I was actually just looking at good and very good for the ratings for this year, in terms of positive view. But if average is added into that, what it actually means is that both wholeness and golding favorability have fallen since last year.
Since last year, yes. Golding have gone up a little since February, but fallen since last year.
Since
yes.
a year ago.
Yes.
Because a year ago, golding came in at 7% for very good, 11% for good, 43% for average, which would be 61%.
Right.
So his favorabilities have now fallen then to 53%,
Right.
which is significant. Wholeness now was at 73% in all, because he had 13% very good, 25% good, 35% average for 73%.
Right.
So he again has fallen more steeply to about 54%.
So almost 20
So in
points.
other words, the public has moved away or is being turned off both, or no? Certainly your leaders.
The favorability rating of both leaders would have fallen. Mark Golding by about 7% and Andrew Willis by 19%. It's never good news when you're going in that direction, right? So I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if that is something that is good news and something that we welcome. What we are encouraged by is the voter intention of the persons. When the question was asked of them, if a general election was to be held, who would you vote for? And the fact that the party is trending in the right direction, in an upward direction, is what is encouraging for us. But we do know that there's still a lot of work to be done.
If it is, the voters are saying at this point in time, yes, if an election were called, no, more of them would vote for the PNP and the JLP, but they're being turned off your leader. What message does that send to you?
Well, I mean, it could mean that they need to see them more. They need to hear them more on some of the issues. It could mean that they want a team approach. Because I've never bought into the concept of saying that management of a country should be about just the leader. It
Well,
should
I
always be
notice-
about the team that is
I
there.
notice that parties, especially the PNP, the position you take depends on how popular your leader is. So when your leader is popular, then it's all about the leader. When your leader is not popular, suddenly it's a team approach.
But you know what worked best for us though? Michael Manley extremely popular, Portia Simzimila extremely popular, but our most victorious leader has been PJ Patterson. So it proves to us that when you have a team in place and you project that team and you have the party together, that your fortunes are better.
So that's what you're taking from this?
That's what I'm taking from it.
In terms of looking at the main issues affecting the country, crime and violence, high cost of living, unemployment, corruption, unemployment of young people. Those are pretty much the issues that, if you look at the polls over the years, have been upsetting or voters have been selecting those issues. And what real indication is there, just before I have to go to break, that your side is going to do any better job than the other side in dealing with these intractable issues?
Well, history is there. Between 2007 and 2011, the most murders you had in any of those years was 1,200. Still way too many. But since you've had this JLP administration from 2016, they've had 1,600, 1,500 murders. On average, they've averaged about, I think it's 300 more per year. So we didn't get everything right, but there was Unite for Change, we had community policing, there was peace management initiative, some of those things which decrease reprisal. How do you intervene in ensuring that the rate of recidivism and those things can be lessened? So those are things that this government hasn't paid attention to. The mobility of the police. So you had the used car scandal, and now you have people calling police who cannot respond.
You don't think, though, Dr. Dayton Campbell, that it's fair to say that both sides have failed on crime and violence, have failed this country on crime and violence?
Put it this way, as long as you have murders at that level, then it would represent a failure. I'm not going to sit here and try to justify 1,000 Jamaicans being murdered in a year. It's still way too much. But I'm saying to you that the direction in which it was going over that 4-year period, it was heading down. The lowest of those years, it went to 1,005, which is the lowest in over 20 years. Since that time, the worst year then was 1,200. You haven't had the lowest year since Anjonis has been Prime Minister. You haven't been to 1,200.
I'm just about at the break. We're going to have to take the break, and then we'll be talking to the Jamaica Labour Party. Dr. Campbell, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. As always, remember our WhatsApp line is 3810072. Soon come.